the person that flew too close to the saucer as it, exhaust came out, and he had a pattern of dots basically tattooed on his abdomen and some severe burns from it. U.S. warship was stalked by balls of light in 2021. It says a previously unreported U.S. Navy encounter with UAPs has been revealed by a former Marines officer. According to documentary filmmaker Dave C. Beatty, the incident involved a U.S. Navy warship USS Kearsafe, which had been on a training exercise at the east coast of the United States in October 2021 when it encountered two balls of light. Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Let me just continue on. This is one of those times where it's like all these things flood into my head. It's like, nope, can't say that. Nope, can't say that. And I have to self-edit. So you kind of saw it in real time.
And me over here, I'm in pain because I'm not saying anything.
Which is awesome that your filter kicked in. The objects, whatever they are, repeatedly pursued the vessel over the course of several days while remaining at a distance of around half a mile behind and an altitude of 200 feet. They had initially been spotted by the ship's watch at night and discovered that for some unknown reason, they were able to lock onto the objects with thermal targeting. Some of the Marines believed that the objects were part of an anti-drone weapon training exercise, but were left perplexed when available countermeasures did not have any effect on them whatsoever. When the incident was reported, the officer in charge was told that the objects were not ours. So what once were UAP sightings that were ignored or never logged, today more service members are reporting them. This leads to the indications that more are being observed, said Beatty. I don't know if more are being observed or it's just, again, people feel like they can talk about this stuff now, whereas before nobody wanted to be that person,
right.
That was kind of an outcast just because, you saw a flying saucer, did you? Okay. Yeah, good luck getting a job after that. Yeah. We've covered some of the, people that were close, the person that stood too close to the saucer as it, right. Exhaust came out, and he had a pattern of dots basically tattooed on his abdomen and some severe burns from it. Yeah. So I guess if you ever see a flying saucer, don't go up and touch it. I think that whatever these things are, they're using some kind of force to stay up in the air, and it's probably not good for us.
Probably not, yeah. Well, here's the thing, though, because you go into a crop circle and such, and they find radiation.
Sure.
They find that these nodes in the growth of the whatever it is, the wheat, the grass, whatever, the nodes explode.
Right.
Well, they actually kind of implode. It's kind of weird. But anyhow, and then the grass is bent over all the way. Not broken. So obviously there's some kind of
exposure to a field.
Yeah.
Like a field of exposure. I just saw a message in the chat from Rachel. Paranormal Portal, if the sun has solar flares, could the Earth's core have core flares, and flares shape with flare waves, a physical imprint in the shape of a crop circle, like a photographic plate. It's just the geometric precision of these things that make me feel like, no, it's not just a hiccup from the core of the Earth. I mean, you could be right. I'm in no position to say yes, you're right, or no, you're not.
Right.
I'm just thinking of the crop circles that I've witnessed, and they're so geometric, and many of them seem to be
intelligent.
Right. Yeah, like passing a form of communication or information, and I don't know that is something that could just come from the biomechanics or the geological mechanics of a planet.
Well, if you think about it, though, the planet does give off magnetic waves.
Sure.
That's what happens. That's that field. What's the field called? It starts with a T. The torsion field. I don't know. It's called the electrical field around. Yeah. It's caused from the Earth.
Sure. It's from
yeah, exactly.
It's
so
the
magnetosphere.
Magnetosphere. Yeah, I think
can't remember what it's called, but the Earth does give off its own waves, as in relation to a solar flare,
which
magnetic
is
waves.
Right. Why we aren't cooked by cosmic rays from the sun? Yeah, because it acts like a shield and keeps us safe.
shield.
Yes, exactly. And they've actually found a fluctuation in that apparently over Africa and South America, where the solar or the magnetosphere is not as strong in those areas, and apparently NASA's really studying that now. Remember when there's a big controversy like, you know what, people are being crazy, we got holes in the ozone layer and we're going to lose the ozone layer. And I was like, how do we know that isn't just the way that ozone works?
Right.
Like it maybe has a respiration, maybe it has a population and then goes through cycles. And then sure enough, what did they find? That the ozone holes that they were so worried about filled themselves in. Like it was just part of apparently the behavior of ozone. And so whenever I hear about these concerns now, this magnetosphere issue, and it's like they're so alarmed by it, but what if that's a natural function of it? We haven't been watching this stuff or being able to watch this stuff for long enough to really have an opinion.
Right.
And that's the part that really concerns me, is that, well, I don't know, let's go up and spray boron in the upper atmosphere because that might help, or, something like all the barium and stuff that people claim are being sprayed up there. And I don't know. I don't pretend to know much about it, but I don't think we know enough about the workings of our planet to be diagnosing and trying to troubleshoot it. It could be very well what it's supposed to do, and that's the part that concerns me.
Right, because we haven't been this technologically advanced ever.
That we know of.
That we know of. True, yes.
Yeah.
Good caveat. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Because, I do believe Atlantis was there in an advanced race of, beings, and then done 15,000 years ago, the last ice age. But I digress. Yes, because we've not been that technically advanced in the history of our history to know how to read those Mother Nature cues.
Well, I think that's I think that it's just one of those things that we have to learn over a period of time with sophisticated enough instruments to watch how things are done. I know that they study the ice cores and stuff and going down to thousands of years and have gleaned a lot of environmental data about that, and found that there are cycles to the earth that things do. That we're always in series of warm-ups or cool-downs. It's just kind of the way the world works, apparently. But and again, I'm not trying to come at this from any real educated place. I don't know. But I just know that we're just starting to learn about what's going on here, and to make any fatalistic determinations based on our observations, I think is premature. And those may be right. They sure may be right, but I don't think that it warrants, like reckless spraying or introducing chemicals or into places that they don't normally go, because there's a balance to everything, and I think we got to be real careful about not trying to apply too big of a band-aid to a problem we don't understand, and then creating a bigger problem and as a result. So I don't know, I'm not trying to teach the world here, but I don't know. That's what concerns me. I find that it's very, very interesting, and I think that the world's been around for a long time, and we just know very little about it. We know very little about ourselves, as far as that goes, how the brain works. There's so much we have to learn about everything that we are involved in, our macroverse and our microverse and everything in between.
Right.